IVM.
Hello and welcome to episode number 136 of IVM Likes. My name is Abbas. I'm in the studio with my fellow IVM staffers Darus.
What's up?
And Antariksh.
Hey!
And Saishi is in the studio, but you will not hear her because she has decided to take on the professional role of a producer for this episode. IVM Likes is a show, in case you have never heard one of our previous 135 episodes. Firstly, do that. But in case you've never heard it, IVM is the podcast network, India's premier podcasting network. And IVM Likes is a show where the staffers of IVM recommend you some cool stuff that they have been experiencing, watching, reading. And in the second half, we take one topic, we deep dive into it, and we discuss it in further detail. Today, we will be talking about one of the most prolific Hollywood directors of our time, at least, if not all time, Quentin Tarantino. We'll talk a bit about his recent movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
And we will rate our favorite Tarantino films. But before that, in the first half, let's quickly do a round of recommendations. So, who wants to go first? Antariksh, you want to go first?
Yep, sure. Hey guys, my recommendation this week is a YouTube channel. It's a musician and rapper. I don't know why I differentiated that. I'm sure rappers are also musicians.
Yeah. The Venn diagram overlaps.
It's a channel called Hovey Benjamin. Hovey is spelled with a V. Okay. And this guy is a comedy musical rapper, I would say.
Okay.
Makes amazing beats for his videos and his songs. And there's some really funny songs. I think I showed you a couple of songs yesterday. And like some really fun, like especially for the Indian audience, we will absolutely love this guy because this guy has a song called Send Bobs.
And if you're an Indian male, you know exactly what Bob refers to.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And veganas. Bobs and veganas. In the song. Some really funny songs. Like he has a song called Past My Prime, where some kids throw a basketball at him and he has to throw it back. And the song goes, "Hey, I just realized something. I'm past my athletic prime," because the ball just goes over him.
Right.
So he's like, so at the end of that verse, he's like, but well, I think I still got my sexual prime. Let me double check that online. According to Cosmo magazine, I sexually peaked at 18. I'm past my sexual prime. So now he's just
memorized these songs.
Yeah, dude. Literally, I've been listening to this guy for 5 days.
There's like a lot of great music out there, but
I know, I absolutely agree. Absolutely. I think this guy should be doing a lot better on YouTube because he has only 70k followers.
He seems to be someone who's similar to like the Weird Al Yankovic kind of
I would say like
genre.
More kind of Lonely Island.
Like a Little Dicky like kind of rapper.
Dicky. Correct. Exactly. Yeah. Like Little Dicky.
I have no idea who Lil Dicky is.
I found out Lil Dicky because of this guy. Normally it would work the other way around because Lil Dicky
was
has
it while listening to Sexual Prime? What up? No? Okay.
Lil Dicky should make a song on Bobs and Vegania. That way all three of them
We're just diversifying the word now.
We are Frenchifying the word. Oh my god.
But what is his song called? The one Send
Bobs.
Send Bobs.
And another song which is really great is
but I just want to talk about, so Antariksh played it for me yesterday. And it's literally, the guy has taken real comments by Indian guys who slide into DMs
and made them
of
rhyme.
girls, and he's just made a song out of it.
And
those screenshots actually play on screen while he's singing those lines.
And actually a catchy song.
It's a great, which is even worse.
That's now stuck in your head, dude.
I don't know whether I feel proud as an Indian that he's taking inspiration from us to make this song,
but this guy isn't Indian, right?
He's not Indian.
Okay. So you think he should have way more than 70,000 subscribers?
Man, for sure.
Let's get
Without
T-Series. All the fans of T-Series.
Is his music available on like iTunes and Spotify?
Actually, I haven't checked. I just checked him out on Instagram today morning. I think he has like quite a lot, more than 20k followers.
Okay.
But again, he should be doing a lot better than that.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he's just bad at self-marketing or something. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. But maybe he'll be huge in like the coming
For sure. I
years.
actually see that happening. For sure.
Alright. So what's the channel called again?
Hovey Benjamin.
Can you just spell that?
Hovey.
Okay.
Hovey Benjamin. Benjamin spells as Benjamin spells.
Cool. Hovey Benjamin, please check out Send to Bob.
Send Bob's.
Show again.
Also a song called Astrology. I'm Sitting Harder Than You. Some great songs.
Antariksh playlist essentially is what he's recommending.
Yep.
Cool. What do you have, Darus?
For this episode, I have a game
Okay.
It's by Ketchup or Ketchup, sorry, pun intended. And they have made a game called Two Cars.
Okay.
Two Cars is basically a game where they have 4 lanes and it's 2 cars, but it's single player.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
wait. 2 cars, 4 lanes, but single player.
But single player. So you're controlling 2 cars at the same time.
Alright.
So you use the left side of your brain and the right side of your brain at the same time.
Okay.
So it's a big stress buster, that's what they say. But
From what I gather, the right side of your brain is creative and the left side is logical.
Or is it the other way around?
No, I'm pretty sure the right side is creative and the left side is logical.
I have no clue.
Okay.
So basically you got to use the 2 sides of your brain,
Got
the
it.
creative and the logical side.
Got it.
And the game is very simple. There are just these squares, which are blocks on the way, and there are circles. You have to catch the circles and avoid the squares while driving 2 cars at the same time. So in case you want to get refresh your mind.
But this actually is using both sides of your brain? Because if you're tapped into one side of the brain, wouldn't just use one side of the brain?
Do you mean both sides of your screen?
Both sides of the screen by using 2 sides of your brain.
I mean, your brain has to multitask essentially.
On both sides. So you could say...
And you're still playing one game. So
I'm
it's a
Still
single
playing one
task.
game, yes.
You could say it's an
But
ambidextrous.
I kind of see that because...
It's a multiplayer game for one player.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
player one,
I can
player
see
two.
where the creative angle comes in because, like you said, squares and circles are shapes, right? So I guess,
yes, that makes sense.
yeah. So
Yeah, it is a bit
geometrical
confusing.
shapes.
Sometimes I hit a square thinking it's a circle.
So, I'm assuming.
I can't tell. Is that a joke? Or is that true?
No, it is true.
Okay.
I'm assuming the circles and squares are different for different lanes and for
No,
both
they're all the same. So
all the same.
There are 4 lanes, and there'll be squares and circles on either lane. And
Exactly,
the thing with the game is that if you miss a circle, you have to collect all the circles basically.
Right.
If you miss one circle, the game's over. So you have to make sure that you get all your circles.
And what happens when you get all of them?
It's just a continuous
Wow.
game.
It's an endless
more,
run.
more circles and squares.
The game just speeds up, and you just make a high score and just brag it about to your friends.
Got it.
Yeah.
Nice. What's the game called?
It's called 2 Cars, yeah.
What is your favorite endless runner games? Do you have others? Do you like endless runners?
I'm
not a big
still,
I used to play a lot of Subway
Subway
Surfers.
Yeah,
Surfers,
Subway
yeah,
Surfers seems to be like
yeah,
like the winner there.
Also that Temple.
Temple Run
Run.
used to be the
yeah,
thing
right.
once upon a time, but I guess Temples just
Suck.
got he got bored of temples. Also, there was Antariksh saying temples suck. That's not a opinion
but
held
I
by.
can say it, Abbas. You can't. Sorry.
Okay then. Where were we? Oh yeah, 2 cars. So anything
cars.
else you want to say about what cars are these? Like
These are just your normal...
do they at least update the cars with various levels?
That's what you wouldn't get from the game. You would just get a normal blue and a red car. That's it.
Oh, okay. Okay. At least
Very basic, very minimalistic.
Right.
The thing that they added in the game is that they added the music, which kinda is a meditative...
You mean they don't play Scent Bobs?
They don't
in the
play
background?
Sandbox, no. This is more
It's very
like
meditative.
very
Okay.
soothing kind of music in a very stressful environment. So
Oh, that's
it's a very
interesting.
yeah.
See, now it makes more sense, the left and right side of the way.
Yeah.
It's meditative, but you have to be competitive.
Yeah.
Also, though I would argue that Scent Bobs is very meditative as well.
Okay, cool. And this is available on
This is
Android.
on Android, iOS, everywhere. So
Cool.
check it out.
All right, so 2 cars is the recommendation from Darus. And I'll round it up with my recommendation. So today I have a very low engagement TV show to recommend.
Okay.
It's a show called Funny You Should Ask. All the episodes are on YouTube. It's a very straightforward game show. There are 2 contestants. There is a host. The host asks general knowledge questions to the contestants, but they don't have to answer it. To answer the questions, you have a panel of 6 comedians. All right.
wow.
The questions are asked to them, and they just have to guess if it's true or false. But they don't just do that, okay? So they get the question, they crack a few jokes about the question, and then they give their opinion whether they think it's true or false.
Okay.
And then the contestants just have to agree or disagree with their answer.
Is it like a Comedy Central show? What is it?
It's kind of a Comedy Central show, but it's for YouTube. Like, it's
Okay.
exclusive for YouTube. The comedians on the panel, actually pretty famous comedians. You have Gabriel Iglesias,
Oh, wow.
Tiffany Haddish,
Oh,
what's the Moshe Kasher's wife?
Natasha Leggero.
Natasha Leggero is on one of the episodes. Many of the comics are people who've done like side roles in Friends and How I Met Your Mother. You may not
nice.
know them by name, but you'll will identify their faces.
Nice.
So it's a very fun, like you can have it playing in the background while you're checking your phone or whatever. It's essentially, they give you the setup with the questions, the comedians crack the punchlines, then they give an answer about, so you're getting to know general knowledge, yet at the same time you're getting some jokes. And yeah, if the contestant is correct, they win a bit of money. And then there's a showdown round where the whole thing, so instead of two, the higher scorer then goes to the final round, and then the whole thing kind of happens in a more rapid fire way.
Nice. How long is each episode?
18 to 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they're all on YouTube.
They're all on YouTube. The channel is called Funny You Should Ask.
And who's the host?
The host is a game show guy. I don't remember his name. He's just
not a comedian or a comedian?
Not a comedian, but he gets well along. Like the back and forth with the host is
it Drew Carey?
It's not Drew Carey. I was about to say, like, think of whose line is it anyway, but instead of improv games, it's a proper game show.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah.
Wow, you just dissed whose line is it?
No, I didn't. I mean, I'm like, it's not an improv show. They're not doing scenes.
I don't care, but I'm just speaking for the other whose line.
Whose line rocks, guys. It's a evergreen recommendation from me. Whose line is it anyway? Whether it's Drew Carey version or Aisha Tyler's version.
You like the Aisha Tyler version?
I do. It took a while for it to grow on me.
But would you still like Drew Carey back?
I would.
Yes. See?
So have you seen Drew Carey's Improvaganza?
I love it.
Yeah,
Seen all of it.
It's amazing.
Have you seen Drew Carey's The Green Room?
No. Is it just become a Drew Carey?
No.
It's a Drew Carey off now. Have you seen Drew Carey? No, what's this show?
Have you seen The Price is Right though? That's also
pretty
I
awful
always-
actually.
As long as it's not hard on my wallet, the price is always right.
Spoken like a true artist, yes.
What's Drew Carey's Green Room about?
So basically, it's the same show, like what they would do at Improvaganza in front of a live audience, but they are doing it in a green screen, like in front of a green screen. So what they do is they'll shoot the entire episode and then hand it off to whatever, like some
Editor.
artists, and, who will then animate everything that they're acting out. Like if this guy's acting like a cowboy, these guys will animate a cowboy head, and it's hilarious.
No costume budget.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's very well done.
So it's like if in the scene they talk about a dinosaur, they'll actually animate.
They'll actually animate the dinosaur.
Got it. Cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, so check it out.
Yeah.
Nice to get recommendations while you're recommending.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's my recommendation. Funny You Should Ask. It's a very funny show. Check it out. And with that, we will recap our recommendations. Antariksh, you recommended
Hovey Benjamin, Hovey Benjamin on YouTube.
Darus.
We've known each other for so long, Abbas.
Yeah, blanked out for a minute. I should play more 2 Cars, which you recommended. And
2 Cars by Ketchup on Android and iOS.
Yeah. And my recommendation, of course, Funny You Should Ask. Cool. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we will talk about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and we will list our favorite Tarantino films. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
Hey everybody, welcome to another amazing week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money. Guys, it's been a really, really cool week. We've had a ton of interesting stuff come out. We had an episode with Kunal Shah on Cyrus Says. We've had really stellar episodes on Pesa Vesa, Advertising is Dead, Filter Coffee Podcast, on Empowering Series, all over the place. Definitely do check it out. I'm sure you'll enjoy what's been going on this week. And with that, let's just continue on with your show.
And we're back on IVM Likes. I still have Darus and Antariksh with me. Before we start our conversation round, Saishi just told us in the break that we were talking about Whose Line Is It Anyway? And Aisha Tyler and Wayne Brady, who's one of the cast members on Whose Line, apparently used to date when Aisha Tyler started hosting.
Yeah.
Which would be like
Or have
such
they
an
just
awkward...
broken up?
They have just broken up.
They're just broken up. And started, yeah.
Oh, did I say start dating?
Yeah.
No, I mean stop dating. So yeah, now this makes me want to rewatch those episodes in a whole new light.
Yeah,
now.
this is the tension.
I look for
Also,
some...
it must be so awkward working with your ex though, man. And it just broke up and I want to still see her every day.
Yeah. Darus, any opinions about that?
I kind of live that life, so I kind of
What?
relate.
What? Who?
Did you break up with someone in office?
What?
Not in office,
Okay.
but like dating, like chilling with your ex. Like I
Oh,
don't know.
chilling with your ex. I
I
thought
mean-
working, you've worked with an ex. Have you?
But still,
No,
depends on how much you
You
liked her,
thought
right?
very long and hard about that. And
No, I
said
was just forming the sentence in my mind.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
All right, cool. This episode should probably, the second half should have gone first and the first half should have gone second, because it's a Tarantino episode, guys. And if there's something he's known for, it's for non-linear screenplays.
Yeah.
A very, very deep
So we need to cut half of this, put it in the beginning, then the second half of this, second half will be in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, and then there'll be a shootout at the end.
Yes. Nobody, 3 men enter, nobody leaves.
It's kind of, I don't know if it's ironic also or not, but Tarantino is known as such a dude bro director, and we have 3 dudes on the show today.
Yeah.
But all 3 of us have seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes, we have.
Yes.
But before we go there, so how long or how did you get introduced to Tarantino, just very quickly?
TV. Like,
what was the first thing of his
I think
that
Kill
you
Bill
saw?
was one of the first movies I saw on TV. It just starred on Star Movies, and that was the first Tarantino movie that I watched.
Antariksh?
The first Tarantino movie I saw was Death Proof, again on TV. It was coming, I think, on Star Movies or...
Back in the day when Indian TV used to
cool.
screen
correct.
some cool stuff.
Death Proof, I fucking loved it. It was great. But then I didn't know it was like a Tarantino movie.
Right.
I just knew the movie because of Kurt Russell in it and whatever.
Sure.
And then I got into college, and in college I got introduced to Pulp Fiction very late in my life.
Right.
Like as the span of Pulp Fiction goes, because we've been around for like more than 20 years now.
Yeah.
But I got introduced to it and fell in love. Like Pulp Fiction is a movie that I literally have on my phone at all times. If I ever get bored, I just start watching Pulp Fiction. I know entire scenes by heart. I loved.
Can you recite
music.
the entire monologue, Ezekiel 25/7?
Absolutely, dude. Without a
don't
doubt.
start.
Don't test me.
About Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah. For me also it was Kill Bill Volume 1. I remember that there was a DVD library I used to go to in Bangalore when I was not studying dentistry rather. I used to watch a movie at night, and the DVD guy actually recommended Kill Bill for me, which is very strange because Tarantino himself used to be a video store clerk.
Yeah.
And I was introduced to Tarantino by a video store clerk. So I saw Kill Bill and I was blown away because it's like 17 movies in one movie. It's like a kung fu movie, it's an anime, it's a western and all of that. So I always look forward to a Tarantino film, and this year was no different. Once Upon a Time.
Did you like the previous one, Hateful Eight? I really.
So I'll come to that. Let's talk about Once Upon a Time first. It's a film that has been in the news for a very long time. It was supposed to be Tarantino doing the Manson murders. By the way, we will be spoiling the film in case you haven't seen it. So
spoiler
if
alert.
you haven't seen the film, pause this, download it, and listen to it when you're done watching it. Because we'll be getting into the details of the ending. But overall, let me start by saying what I thought about the film. I thought it's a very unique Tarantino film in that it's a very hangout film. There is no plot as such for the film.
It's a feel-good film, kind of, right?
I wouldn't even call it feel good. It's a very
laid-back kind of
laid-back film. Like if you think of Inglourious Bastards or Django Unchained, there was a propulsive motion driving the film to a point, right? That this person has to do these things, and which is why the sequence of events is leading you to that point.
So would you call this Tarantino's stoner comedy?
I think this would quintessentially
I don't think it's even that much of a comedy. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It has a hazy psychedelic feel to it.
Yeah.
Especially the scenes where he goes to the ranch.
And he smokes
what
meth.
is that?
No,
acid dip cigarette.
I want to speak about that. You can't smoke acid though. Like
you can.
You can't.
I believe
you can dip it. You can
dip it in the liquid. Antariksh is offended. It's like, yes, you can.
No, but that's how it works, man.
No, but like that releases all the acid and the chemicals that would go in your body. Like it'll just burn it away. You can't smoke acid.
Well,
like you can.
Only one way to find out if
Let's
it
do
works
it right
or
now.
not.
Okay.
I'm gonna
my drug expertise is not as much, but I was about to say the amount of cigarettes these guys smoke throughout the film.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
Of course, we watching the film in India, the smoking is injurious to. At one point, I remember there were 3 different warnings on the screen: alcohol, smoke, and drugs.
At the same time?
At the same time. Because he was taking an acid-dipped cigarette, so there was a cigarette and there was drugs, and he was drinking, so there was like 3 warnings on the screen. But
they do a weird thing with censorship in India.
Yeah.
I went to watch the movie, and the very first scene where this guy breaks into like these Nazi meeting, and he blow like with the flamethrower. He sets them on fire. So he shouts, "Die, you Nazi bitches!" or whatever he shouts. And I kid you not, they beeped the word Nazi.
Really?
Not bitches. In the first scene. In the very next scene, they let Nazi fly.
So in my screening, none of the F words were beeped, but every time they said ass or bastard, Or so
Makes no
I
sense.
think even the word cock was beeped out.
I
at
heard
one
like
point.
they have cut out some scenes from this movie as well. Like there are some scenes that we
Yeah.
actually didn't get to see.
Okay, this is a tangent, but talking about censorship, there was an episode of, again, totally different thing. There's an episode of Friends, and I was watching it on Comedy Central, and I kid you not, they beeped the word condom,
Yeah.
but they showed it in subtitles.
Yeah, they do that.
It's so dumb, dude. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Indian censorship,
yeah.
another episode. But yeah, you were making a point about things being beeped and left out.
Yeah.
By the way, the whole Leonardo playing a Nazi killer is himself, Tarantino self-parodying Inglourious Bastards. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Also,
yeah.
though, like the acting was incredible. People
Agreed.
some people will like the movie, some people won't, but you cannot say that the acting was bad. The acting was impeccable.
I think the
Sure.
acting was the thing that
Held it together.
kept me
Yeah, because
interested
like I
in the
said,
movie.
absolutely.
there is
Yeah.
no such no plot
No,
as
not
such
really.
in
Yeah.
the film.
Yeah.
So you follow Leonardo, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie. And I remember before the film was released, there was a bit of a criticism that Margot Robbie doesn't have a lot of speaking.
Yeah.
Like she didn't
But
have many
I
dialogue.
felt that the
I
character was
thought that
great, yeah.
added to
Yeah.
to her role because
correct.
she speaks so little, but
Yeah.
still there's so much she has to do, and the
Correct.
way she expresses what she has to express without
And
words.
I was watching the interviews of the movie before that, and they were saying that Margot Robbie's character, like Sharon Tate's character, was supposed to be like this ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
Which is a ray of sunshine, which is like guiding the movie forward. Which I totally saw in the
Yeah.
movie. I
Yeah.
totally agreed. She was like this very colorful thing on. I don't know.
Did you just call her a thing?
Colorful. She was this colorful plot device
Right.
on screen.
Yeah.
Which was really cool to see.
You know what I liked about the film is that we only see Marilyn Manson. I'm saying Charles Manson is just in just one
Once,
scene.
yeah, correct.
And I was
that scene made the trailer.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That
I was
was-
listening to an interview of Tarantino where he talks about the film, where he said that so there were actually more scenes shot with the Manson character.
Yeah.
But he said that the more he wrote Manson into the script, the more he thought he's justifying what he did. So he just didn't want that at all. And this is a sort of a parallel made in different movies also. So like in Inglourious Bastards, he hates the Nazis, so he shows the Nazis are like stupid people. Like they may be a regime that is very daunting, but at the end of the day, they are pompous assholes. And similarly, he does the same thing, I think, with the Manson family.
And
where
also with Bruce Lee, he did it a bit.
oh yeah, what did you guys think about the Bruce
You know what?
Lee,
I was a huge Bruce Lee fan, but
was?
still I loved this.
Yeah,
I was a huge
it
Bruce
was
Lee
funny.
fan.
Like I
I still
find,
loved it.
I didn't
Okay.
find anything
Yeah.
wrong with it though.
And the sad thing is, like now Tarantino is going around having to justify as to why he did that. I saw the interview why.
Yeah.
Did you watch this?
I
So,
did.
His explanation was that firstly, you shouldn't have to explain, man. It's art,
Yeah.
right? And his interpretation is his interpretation. What people take of it, he's not forcing you to watch it.
Right.
But one of the criticisms was from the Lee family, from Bruce Lee's
Yeah,
family.
yeah.
And his daughter was like, I don't want to see my dad being depicted as an asshole on
Yeah.
screen. Which is fine. Like Tarantino was saying, whatever I've read and whatever I've seen of Bruce Lee in his interviews, he is a little bit pompous.
Yeah, he's pompous. You know who else is pompous? Tarantino himself.
Yes. Okay.
My thing was that, so in that particular scene, he gets his ass kicked by Brad Pitt's character, right? But I think then he gets his comeuppance when later on we see him training Sharon Tate for the action scenes.
Yeah, okay.
So I think he kind of gives him that little respite that...
He was very respected, sir.
Yeah, and I think there is that question, of course, that Cliff Booth, which is Brad Pitt's character, he's remembering this on a rooftop. And Cliff Booth's character is very interesting because he's probably remembering things the way he wants to remember it.
Yeah.
And so you want to hear my hot take on the whole Cliff Booth character?
Yeah, sure.
So there is a rumor going around in the movie that he maybe killed his wife,
Yeah.
right? We're never told whether he did it or not.
Correct.
Then we see a very brief flashback of him with his wife on a boat,
Yeah.
and his wife is irritating him, and then all we hear is a sound wave, and it cuts off, and we
Yeah.
don't know whether she fell or okay.
Yeah.
And I think that is Tarantino's sort of
Joker
take.
moment.
No, that is Tarantino's take on the whole Me Too movement. And it doesn't matter if the man did it or not. Once it's out there that he maybe did it, then his image kind of precedes it. And I think, I don't know, but it's like he worked with Weinstein for like however many years, like Harvey Weinstein.
Correct.
So and Tarantino is now seen as this out of place person, whether times are changing, but he's still doing things he portrays women in a certain way in his films. So I don't know. I just connected the dots there. I'm like, maybe this is his take on. It doesn't matter if he did it or not,
Correct.
but
It can be interpreted in that
It's
way.
out there now. So yeah.
It's really cool, man. I never thought of it like that.
Anyone else have a hot take on Once Upon a Time?
Good movie.
I like the music selection in the movie.
Oh yeah, the music selection.
Dude, I was just gonna bring that up. Yeah.
Just the scenes of Brad Pitt driving around the city.
Yeah.
There's a point where he plays Hush by Deep Purple.
Yeah.
That's a really
Dude, I'm in
good
love
song.
with a few songs already. There's a song called Los Bravos in the movie.
Yeah,
It's in
yeah.
the trailer also.
Los Bravos is the
Bring
band that played the song.
Sorry, the song is Bring a Little Lovin'.
Bring a Little Lovin'.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, the Los Bravos is the band, and it's just so great and catchy, dude. Damn good. He always has he has a knack.
Trying to replay what she just shot on her phone, but let's carry on.
He has a knack. Tarantino has a knack for
Yeah.
picking great soundtracks in his movies, dude.
it's true.
Always. And you always go back and listen to these songs, and you're like, "Fuck, these are great songs, dude. How does he find them? How does he have this catalog of music in his mind?"
So he's actually spoken about this as well. That he writes scenes to music. Like he listens to a song, and then he writes a scene.
Wow.
Which he thinks will justify the music that he's listening to, instead of it being the other way around.
Like opposite end.
The opposite, yeah. He spoke. So I don't know if it's still out there, but there was a version of the Pulp Fiction soundtrack which was released, where at the end it's a 16-minute talk from Tarantino talking about how he chose music for Pulp Fiction, and he says that for him there's no such thing as a guilty pleasure. If he listens to a song, like if he likes Bob Vagana,
Yeah, he'll put it in
he
there.
genuinely loves Bob Vagana and he'll put it in a movie.
Can you make a movie about Bob? No, please.
Well,
if you're
Mr.
listening to this.
Tarantino, if you're
Yeah.
listening to this.
Yeah, Bob Vagana also sounds like a mafioso, right? Like a small
Yeah,
time
Tarantino
mafia
character.
crook. Yeah, exactly.
My name's Bob Vagana. Let's talk about the ending. What do you guys think of the ending? So here's what I think, guys.
Okay.
Since I'm hosting. So for me, the rest of the movie is on one hand, and the ending is on the other. I am not sold on the ending. I'll tell you why. Because I just think it drops all pretense and becomes a facade. Like if it becomes an SNL sketch.
Okay.
Because the moment we see the Manson family in the car planning to kill these people, and from that moment on, it just becomes a farce. Like, oh my God, I forgot the keys. Let me go get the keys. It's a great standalone comedy piece. Like if Tarantino was like, I'm going to direct an SNL sketch about the Manson murders, and if it was this, I'd be like, my God, hilarious. But for me, the film did not lead up to this point.
Were you aware of the whole Sharon Tate and the Manson?
I was,
yeah. So I wasn't that well versed on the story.
Okay, so what did you think of?
I thought the movie's end was a little weird because I wanted it to go. I was loving it till that point.
Right.
Like adoring that movie till that point. And then that's why I wanted the end to be a little bit longer.
Okay.
I wanted a little more after that. Because I didn't know that these guys are supposed to break into Sharon Tate's house, which I found out after the movie.
Okay.
And so yeah, like I would have liked to see his interaction with Sharon Tate, or just further in his career or something.
Yeah, when I'm a little mixed on the ending. I feel
I actually
it
don't
was,
know what else I would have ideally liked, but I know I would have wanted something a little bit more.
It was a little underwhelming. Like there should have been some sort of closure. Like it just when the movie ended, I was like, oh, is it done?
Right. Huh.
It just felt like that. I feel like if you could.
Did you know about the Sharon Tate murders?
Yeah.
You knew about that.
Yeah.
And were you expecting to see her get murdered?
Yeah,
on screen?
exactly. I thought she would be killed. That's what I had a discussion with with Antariksh before as well, and basically it's an alternate plot that they have done.
So again, here's my thing, right? He's been doing this alternate history things for the last 3 movies that he's made.
Correct.
In Inglourious Bastards, he had the Jews kill Hitler. In Django, he had a slave free a plantation, right, and himself. I think in both those cases, right? I mean, in Inglourious Bastards, there are so many things happening that the Hitler dying subplot is almost secondary. Where like, okay, he's done, now let's get back to Hans Landa, who's built as an even more threatening figure than Hitler.
Yeah.
So that's almost done away with and it's gone. In Django, I can believe, okay, maybe there was this one plantation which had a slave who rebelled and actually got his freedom. In this, I think he's deliberately making an alternate history where it's like, they never died. And, you know, this director went on to have a prolific career. You know, so I think it's like back to the futuring the future.
Talking about Leo in the film, you remember those scenes where
the Western, all those cutaways to Westerns and him doing various things was too cool. I loved every single one of those moments. But one of those scenes where he's acting with Timothy Olyphant, I think they're sitting in like a saloon, like they talk about those bars, saloons, and then he's like, he breaks character in the movie and he goes line. I loved that scene. His acting was so great. His transition from within that character to Rick Dalton and then back into that character was just amazing.
I actually like the follow-up after that scene. So he goes back to his trailer and he has this really mental breakdown.
Loved it.
I was like, relatable.
And that little girl was so cool.
Oh yeah, she was
damn
really
awesome.
good.
Yeah, and like this is the best acting I've ever seen. And he starts crying. That's awesome.
But you see what he's done, right? I mean, he actually shows you the scene as it's supposed to be seen.
Correct. Yeah.
And that show is actually a real show that existed in the 60s.
Really?
Whoa.
And I've heard podcasts where people said that show wasn't that good. So this is Tarantino telling you that, like, if you saw Shaktiman as a kid, it's a shit show. But for you back then, it was the most amazing thing ever, right?
Correct.
So when you show how you perceived that thing, so for Tarantino, that was like the most serious, most elegantly made thing in the world. But objectively, it was a badly made Western. So yeah, that's one point of view.
That's really cool.
Cool. Let's do our top 5 Tarantino. Want to do top 3? What do you want to do?
Top 5 works.
Top 5, cool. So how do we do this?
5,
all of
4,
us,
3 to 1. Right.
All of us give our 5. All of us give our 5 to 1.
Okay.
Let's do all of us. Let's start with 5. Antariksh, what's your number 5?
Number 5, I will have to say.
You're just making the list.
I'm just making the list right now.
Okay.
I know what my number 1, 2, 3 are. I can't think about my 5.
Do you have a number 5, Darus?
I've only seen 5 Quentin Tarantino.
Okay.
So I'm guessing.
Okay, number
perfect.
5. Number 5 will be Reservoir Dogs.
Really? Okay.
I mean, I would have put it up there, but then I'm making this list, I realized, dude, he has some great.
That's true.
How are you gonna? So yeah, Reservoir Dogs is good. Number 5.
Wait, I was picking the worst movie, like Kill Bill 2. So number 5, I would give Kill Bill Volume 1.
Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
Actually, Volume 1 was pretty good though.
Yeah.
Again, all his movies are pretty good.
Yeah, that's the
thing.
So you had Reservoir Dogs at number 5, Antariksh. Mine is also Reservoir Dogs, actually.
Hey! That movie sucks.
it doesn't suck, but it hasn't aged very well. I saw it very recently.
Kante.
Also Kante. Yeah, did it have Jaane Kya Hoga Rama Re? No, it didn't. Did it have Sanjay Dutt playing with his knife? No, he didn't. I'll tell you what still Reservoir Dogs, what I still like about the film, and I saw the film like 5 days ago as soon as I watched Once Upon a Time. It's still that tension in the film that the bank robbery has gone wrong and oh my god, we might get caught. It's a 93-minute film. I think all of Tarantino's latest films have been very bloated. They're 2.5, 3 hours long. I don't think, especially Hateful Eight, could have done with some, major cutting.
You know what?
What? That's your number 1?
No, Hateful Eight is actually there in my list.
In your top 5?
My number 4 is Hateful Eight.
Oh,
I really
great
like that
segue.
movie.
Really?
Yeah.
That's my third least favorite Tarantino film.
Really?
Tell me why you
loved it because it's again a western that he does westerns really well. It's based in snow. That was the whole backdrop where they can't get out of the house.
True, yeah.
Out of the barn.
Again, tension.
Great. Yeah, tension is great. And dude, the actors he got for that movie. The Samuel L. Channing Tatum has a cameo, not a cameo, more than a cameo, but then Kurt Russell shows up.
Yeah.
And what's his name?
Tim Roth is in the movie.
Tim Roth is in the movie. The guy from Reservoir Dogs with Vincent Dada Vega. I forgot his name.
We should be good with names. One second.
But yeah, like the movie was great, man. That actress who was nominated for the
that actress, that actor.
the Oscar, I don't know the names.
I'll Google them. Michael Madsen is
correct. Michael Madsen,
the actor you're talking about. Jennifer Jason Leigh
Yes,
she is the only female who holds up really well in a room full of.
Correct.
I think there are two female characters who holds up really well in a room full of men.
I remember that great moment in the movie where Samuel L. Jackson's character is talking to that old man. Again, I'm just gonna say that girl, that old man who is there.
Buffs, can't you tell?
Yeah.
He's just sitting there in the barn, and apparently it turns out that Samuel L. Jackson killed that guy's son. You remember this?
Spoilers, guys, for Hateful Eight.
Again,
I haven't seen Hateful Eight. It's not one of my favorites.
Well, but that whole scene just was so well done, and
the old guy being Bruce Dern, guys. Yeah.
But a lot of people do give a lot of hate to Hateful Eight. Because it's easy to hate something which has hate in the name. So,
I just think it was bloated, it was overlong. It has some great performances, yes, but instead of a 3-hour film, it could have easily been like a 2-hour film.
Okay, I like the slow burns in Tarantino films. I like it. Again, as I said,
there's slow burn and then there's just stretching gum out till it's torn.
Correct. Again, that's what I said though, right? Like that, I would have liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood to have been longer a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I wanted to see a little bit more after that.
I think the ending made you feel that you wanted it to be longer.
That's
I feel like if it had a perfect ending, it would have been like,
this was great.
This was longer than I expected.
Correct.
What's your number 4, Darus?
My number 4 is Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, he's put it a place above both of us.
Yeah, I liked Reservoir Dogs. I feel like there was a good build-up. I mean, you kind of knew who what was it? The
cop.
The cop was the undercover cop in it. But I loved the build-up. I loved how everyone was just trying to rat each other out.
Right, yeah.
And which led to that Mexican standoff and everyone just basically killing themselves.
Right.
And I like that movie. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Jackie Brown.
Oh, nice.
So, I believe neither of you have seen Jackie Brown.
No.
So, Jackie Brown, I think, is his most mature film yet. And yet it's in that same oeuvre of gangster films.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it's not as hyper as Reservoir Dogs. It's not as sort of brilliant as Pulp Fiction. It sits pretty much very comfortably in between the both of them. I think it's a very good film. Actually, I think you might like it. If you like a slow burn, you will like Jackie Brown. Again, the music is really good used in the movie. And Jackie Brown was one of those films when I saw it first, I didn't really like it. But the more I've seen it, the more I've sort of learned to like it. And again, a killer performance by Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What's your number 3?
Number 3, I'm thinking between either Django or Death Proof. I really love both.
You know, Django and Death Proof are my 9 and 10. in the Tarantino pantheon. Yeah.
Death Proof also?
Death Proof is number 9 for me.
Death was badass.
Abbas would be bummed because Django is number 3 for me. Then.
For you too?
Hey,
okay. Django is my least favorite Tarantino film.
I love that one.
And I was speaking to Darus before. Why am I forgetting your name today?
I don't know, man.
Before we started recording, I think it's not as much a Tarantino thing for Django Unchained. I'm not a big fan of Jamie Foxx.
Oh, really? I love Jamie Foxx.
So maybe that has to do it.
Okay,
both of you have Django at number 3. Okay, my number 3 is Pulp Fiction.
Hey!
Yeah. I think, need not say much. Everything about the film is iconic.
Correct.
I think it's the most rewatchable Tarantino film. Yeah. Like you said, you have it on your phone all the time. So even if I'm watching it from the middle of the film, I watch it till the end. Yeah. Great cast. It just redefined everything about
that
cinema.
That Christopher Walken scene, dude.
Yeah, that watch scene.
Yeah. This watch!
Antariksh also a great impersonator, by the way. He was impersonating various comedians for me last night.
One of our IVM hosts I can impersonate pretty well.
Who?
Naveen Narona.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Do Naveen doing Tarantino rating.
Okay. So my favorite movie is I would say my second favorite
Tarantino film.
So my My second favorite Tarantino film, that became a little Farhan Akhtar, I think. I can do Farhan Akhtar and Naveen in the same process.
At the same time.
Yeah. But as Antariksh, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Inglourious Bastards.
Ooh, close.
That's a great film.
That's
Everyone
a great
will say
film.
yes.
I can see where you're leading up to number 1.
Yes, of
Is it
course.
the movie on your phone?
Yes, it is. That is the one, yes.
What about you, Darus?
Number 2. I just realized I've just seen 4 movies.
You've just seen 4 Tarantino movies? You're gonna make one up now.
I'm gonna make one. So this amazing number 2 spot that I picked is Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Nice.
Love that movie.
I'm taking by now, we can take it for granted that Once Upon a Time did not make any of our top
You could
5.
say
Okay.
Once Upon a Time is quintessentially the least Tarantino movie.
Ooh, I wouldn't quite say that. I put it at number 7 on my list of top 10. So I've put Hateful Eight, Death Proof and Django all below Once Upon a Time.
So we have all different views on all of us. It's just scattered all around.
Like Tarantino's movies.
Yeah. So you said your number 2 was?
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction, okay.
Yeah.
Want to say something about Pulp
It's
Fiction?
a very easy watchable movie, very laid back. The lines, the dialogue is also so easy.
So great.
Like very quote-worthy dialogues. Yeah, it's a pretty chill movie.
My number 2 is Kill Bill Volume 1.
Oh, nice.
It's the film that introduced me to Tarantino,
Yeah,
like I said at the top of the discussion. I saw Kill Bill Volume 1 and I wanted to see every film ever made, whether it was a Kung Fu movie, whether it was a French New Wave film, whether it was a, Western.
That movie ignited your love for movies.
Ignited my love for movies. So for me, that will always be special. Kill Bill Volume 1. I think Volume 2 is very different tonally from Volume 1. I think Volume 1 is a superior film.
Okay.
They both work well in unison. Tarantino himself considers both of them as one film, but I don't. I think Volume 2 is a different film. So for me, Kill Bill Volume 1 is 2.
You think he considers them as one film so that he can make one more film? Because he says he's making 10.
Yeah. Maybe he's actually teased making a Kill Bill Volume 3 with the daughter.
So again, see, that's why excuses.
when was the last
All
Kill
3
Bill
of them are
released,
one
though?
movie.
The last,
When was it released?
both of them were
Years
released
back.
6 months apart in 2003.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, see, that's what
It
you
was supposed to be one film, but then Miramax was like, nobody will buy a 3.5-hour film.
Okay.
So you better chop it up in 2. So he did that.
I thought it was a very offensive joke.
No, it's okay. You can, we'll
cut
just
it
say
out?
it. We'll cut it out if it's too offensive.
Miramax wanted to cut it in 2 because Weinstein needed more actresses in his rooms and casting roles.
Boom. This will land up somewhere in the vault of IVM.
The archive.
So let's do the drum roll. What's our number 1?
Mine is what is that? How does it start? Wait. Pulp Fiction.
Good thing you clarified.
Yeah,
Cool. You want to say 2 lines about Pulp Fiction?
Dude, greatest
It's
movie
always on your
ever.
phone, apart
It's
from
always
that.
on my phone. I'll play scenes from it right now if you want, dude.
No, it's okay.
One of my favorite parts in the movie is when after Samuel Jackson's great, the big speech in the first scene.
Yeah.
After he shoots Brett.
Does he look like a bitch?
Yeah, does he? Why trying to f like a bitch, Brett? Yeah, so while they shoot Vincent and Samuel Jules shoot the guy. And the very next scene is Marcellus.
Talking to Bruce
Willis. I love
With
the transition
the song
there.
playing in the background.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that song, dude. So great. And I know that. I love that speech. Like, I think you're going to find, when all this shit is done, I think you're going to find yourself one smiling.
He's probably one of the best directors to direct monologues.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Without
he just
a doubt.
knows how to hold
For sure. Yeah.
hold the screen. What about you, Darus? What's your number 1?
My number 1 would be Inglourious Bastards.
Ooh, nice.
You know what? I definitely will agree is superior in Inglourious Bastards and in Pulp Fiction is Pulp Fiction has that very irritating French chick.
Pulp Fiction?
Like the Bruce Willis
Zed's
lover.
dead?
No,
Zed's
Bruce Willis
dead,
lover.
baby.
No, that's a great line.
No, I mean...
You know Zed's Dead is an artist's name? There's a band called Zed's Dead.
You mean the girl
Like
who
Double
Bruce
The girl
Willis.
Bruce Willis is dating in the movie.
Who
This
has
is
a
so
very
irritating.
wonderful line about sensation or touching or something like that. But anyway, why do you find her irritating?
That whole like plot line can, like, I will mostly skip past that plot line because I don't want I don't know, that seems like a slower part in an otherwise like this happening movie. But I understand why Tarantino would have put it there, because it's a slow part in an otherwise happening movie. So I need some downtime.
Nice. My number one is also Inglourious Bastards. I think that's the peak of Tarantino. I think he built up to the peak from his 90s films, Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill was there, and then he hit peak with Inglourious, and I think since then he's been kind of on a, I won't say decline, but he's been doing his own thing. He's been making films that he wants to make. I think Inglourious was everything about a Tarantino film that's good about a Tarantino film.
You're saying Tarantino is going through his M. Night Shyamalan phase, but his M. Night Shyamalan phase is still excellent.
Better, yes.
Yeah, so that's a problem.
I mean, I remember, so I had, Inglourious Basterds came out in 2009. I had gotten knee deep into Tarantino in about 2008. So I was really looking forward to Inglourious when it was about to release.
Nice.
And it met all my expectations. I mean, the casting of the entire film, where did he find Christoph Waltz? I do not know. But thank the gods he did.
And his performance as well.
Exactly. It is amazing.
That first scene.
The starting scene
that scene alone is like a movie on its own.
You can't top that.
I think it's also like Tarantino is great at opening scenes, right? He knows how to capture an audience's attention. So he's great at those, man. He always hits the spot with those.
The fact that I've seen a theater full of people sit and watch a film that's like 70% in German and French and all languages apart from English and with subtitles, and that whole tavern scene that's like right in the middle of the
Michael
film.
Fassbender?
Yeah, with the Michael Fassbender, where he's just
scene.
building to the tension, and finally it breaks. The way it's an ode to the Second World War, yet for the love of movies, because the climax takes place in a movie hall, and just every single thing of the music, Shoshana getting dressed in red with a David Bowie song playing from the 80s in a film that's set in the 40s. Like, it's just everything about that film is magnificent. I think that's easily till now Tarantino's peak for me. So yeah.
So want to just count down all our fives and then.
Sure. So my 5 was Reservoir Dogs. My number 4 was Jackie Brown. My number 3 was Pulp Fiction. My number 2 was Kill Bill Volume 1. And my number 1 was Inglourious Bastards. I think Pulp Fiction is the one that made it to all 3 of our lists.
I think it's that kind of movie that it's so casual, you just add it to...
Yes, it's true. Antariksh, are you still with us?
Yeah, I am. Just... I forgot what my number 4 was. Okay, number 5 was Reservoir Dogs. Number 4 was Hateful Eight. I forgot what I said. It's Hateful Eight now. Number 3 is Django and Death Proof. Yeah, I was right. Hateful Eight, number 4. Number 3 is Django and Death Proof. Number 2 is Inglourious Bastards. And number 1 is Pulp Fiction, baby!
Even your 1 and 2 Inglourious and Pulp, weren't they?
Yeah, I think number 5 was Kill Bill Volume 1. Number 4 was Reservoir Dogs. Number 3, Django Unchained. Number 2, Pulp Fiction. And number 1, Inglourious Bastards.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So that was our list of our top 5 Tarantino films. Please send us your list. Tell us what you thought of what is the film we discussed? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Darus was just mentioning that we totally skipped the fit fetish of Tarantino, foot fetish. So if you want to drop in the mail to our office with your feet, please do that.
Please don't send us images of your feet as well. It's just
so that was our episode this week. I hope you had fun. If there's anything you want us to talk about, please send your recommendations in to us. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can follow us personally on our social media handles. My handle on Twitter is Abbas Momin, and on Instagram it's Abbas Momin 88. Antariksh?
You can find me on Instagram at Antariksh T, ANTARIKSHT.
I thought you were spelling Tarantino for a second, but you weren't.
That's long. Might as well have been.
That is what
you can find me on Instagram. DARUS DSOUZA. Darus D'Souza on Instagram.
The J is silent.
And I'm not much on Twitter, so just follow me.
His actual spelling is DJRUS, but the J is silent, guys. Get it? Please laugh. I'm trying to crack a joke here.
My actual initials are Darus Edwin D'Souza, so it's like DED. Yeah.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah, just like my soul. Just like my soul, yeah.
Our producer just yelled something out. What is it, Saishri? He's dead on the inside, is it? Oh, nice. Zed's dead, baby.
Zed's dead.
All right, we'll see you next week on another episode. Till then, bye-bye.
See you.
Hi, my name is Anupam Gupta. I'm B50 on Twitter. I am the host of Paisa Vaisa, the show that talks money. On my show, I speak to experts from every field of money and finance, from stock markets, equities, debt funds, credit cards, life insurance, every possible area of money and finance that you can think of. We even did an episode on cryptocurrency. I've got fantastic guests from mutual funds to personal finance experts everywhere. Robo-advisory, startups, just name it, we've got it. At Paisa Vaisa, we help you make smart decisions about money. You work hard for money. Now make your money work hard for you. New episodes out every Monday, and you can listen to my show on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you have.
Do you have a night routine? Well, everyone has one. And the to-do list usually looks like this. Brush your teeth, set that alarm, get into your pajamas, and switch off those screens. But here's one more to add to that list. Tune into the Positively Unlimited podcast for a dose of positive action and tips on how to build powerful mindsets. Episodes out every Monday on the IVM Podcast app, ivmpodcast.com, or wherever you tune into podcasts.